Hello, everyone. This is Yeshua Said My Name, YSMN. I wanted to present a video today to you of some things that have, caught my attention over the last few months as I've been studying more and more about the days of Noah. Even thinking about that term that the Lord said it would be as in the days of Noah, right before he returned or when he returned, it made me start thinking back into the past and researching things prayerfully from the times of ancient history, the times of the past, the days of Noah, Enoch, and so on. What I wanted to make this video about, which might seem a little different from the usual topics that I discuss on this channel with you all, are whether you're aware of it or not, you may already be aware of this, but I've come across images that I have found that are etched in stone in ancient temples, be they Egyptian temples, Aztec temples, Mayan temples. They're all over the world. Cave drawings, but they're etched in stone. And that's for a reason. When somebody of an ancient time etched something in stone, they wanted it to be remembered for thousands of years, and almost immortalize the message that they were trying to get across to their viewers or the people that would see it. When we think of Ecclesiastes that says there's nothing new under the sun, Ecclesiastes 1:9, Solomon said, "What has been will be again, and no one can say, 'Oh, look, here's something new.'" That's taken right out of the scriptures. I wanted to show you some ancient etchings into stone that are in ancient temples all over the world. It's not just Egypt, it's all over the world, which indicates to me that these fallen angels that are discussed in Genesis chapter 6, the book of Enoch, these fallen angels were influencing cultures from all over the world. There are cultures that have pyramids and obelisks and stone carvings of what looks like these ancient alien grays or technology. And I'm going to show you that in this video. It's all over the world with different cultures that at that time had no way to cross oceans and see one another, had no way to interact with one another. Yet all these independent cultures from continents apart are all having similar stories of these star people, these shining ones coming from the heavens, telling people they're gods. I truly believe that the ancient mythologies that had existed all over the world and these gods, I say quote unquote with a lowercase g, that were worshipped all over the world, that were simply the fallen angels. Satan wants to be worshipped and he's a fallen angel. It makes sense that his angels would want the same. So all over the world, through ancient cultures, if you're unaware of this, pyramids were being built, obelisks were going up, etchings in stone depicting certain beings. You can see this all over the world. So if we look at these Egyptian hieroglyphs in one of their temples, you can see what looks like a helicopter. This could be a rocket of some kind that orbits the Earth, or here you've got what looks like maybe a submarine. Here's an airplane down here. This could even be taken as an airplane. So there are things here that I see in this picture that should not be here. We think at times, well, what we have in the last 150 years, when technology exploded from horse and carriage and candlelight and oil lamps to helicopters, airplanes, telephones, computers, all the AI technology, we're the first to have that. Are we? Could it have been that in the days of Noah, some of this technology was around, because Ecclesiastes tells us that thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. There is no new thing under the sun. So when I look at these carvings, I see very interesting things all over the world. Here's another one that looks like a disc of some kind. And as we scroll down over here, there are engravings of what appears, here's some more ancient carvings here, of what appears to be like what we call an alien gray, which I believe John in Revelation said looked like a frog, an unclean spirit going out to the kings of the earth, and they look like frogs. Well, lo and behold, they do. So here's another Egyptian carving in stone showing this creature. Here's another one in stone. And apparently, this is from the National Catholic Register. Well, those of you who know my channel have followed it for any length of time know where I stand on Catholicism. And this is not to offend anyone. My channel will explain it if you want to backtrack in the videos, that I believe Roman Catholicism is pagan. I believe she is Mystery Babylon, according to Revelation 17 and 18. So this etching of what looks like some kind of being that looks like this, or an alien gray, is, they're going to put it next to crosses. What Mystery Babylon does is mix the unholy with the holy, the ungodly with the godly. That's what they're doing. They're Mystery Babylon disguising themselves as looking Christian. In my opinion, they are not. And I'm not saying every Catholic out there knows that they're involved in paganism until the Lord opens their eyes. Some of them don't. Moving on, here are some more etchings that I found interesting. Beings that look like, because back in the days of Noah, the angels apparently provoked the Lord by sinning against the animals. And here you've got something that looks half man, half animal. You come over here, and this is a cave drawing from the clips of history on the History Channel, a cave drawing. And you can look at that clearly and see exactly what that is supposed to be. There's no doubt. This old drawing here. Here are some etches in some stone of some more hieroglyphs. Looks very similar to what people are talking about today, yet we think this is a new phenomenon. There are even paintings and artwork that seem to depict angels flying in what they used to call chariots of fire in ancient paintings, ancient drawings. Here's another one. They called them chariots of fire because to them they looked like they were on fire because they shone a great light. So this is apparently ancient artwork as well. So as we go down and we look at these things, like if you look at this particular statue in China, it looks like they're refurbishing this, but why would an ancient artifact have eyes that look like this? It reminds you of those frogs that John saw in Revelation. Or who are they patterning this after? So even in ancient times, we were seeing depictions in books and paintings and on cave walls. This is a coin. As a matter of fact, this is an old coin showing what looks like a craft up here. And I wonder if I can find a picture of the front of this coin, because the front of this coin actually shows a picture of an alien gray. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the front of that coin. And look at this thing. Here's the back. Here's the front. Why? It's been etched in money. It's been etched in stone. It's been etched in artwork. These cultures that are thousands of miles apart. Here's a chariot of fire etched and painted into stone. Another wall drawing. Another wall drawing here from a temple in Egypt. I'm telling you, they worshipped these beings as gods. This is where your ancient mythology comes from, in my opinion. These so-called gods. This character here, I think, comes from Japan. Again, the big head with the two bulbous eyes. This is interesting here, and I'll go back to this picture in a moment, but this is interesting here. This apparently is Salamanca Cathedral of an astronaut, and I find that interesting that it's on a cathedral of all things. It just doesn't seem to mix, does it? It just seems very unusual to me to be on a cathedral of all things. We're supposed to keep everything about the Lord, and apparently they're mixing this in with it. What kind of message are they trying to tell people about these fallen angels by doing things like this? Projecting and telegraphing quietly, drip feeding quietly, trying to get their message across. So getting back to this coin, isn't this interesting that the back of this coin has what looks like what they called a chariot of fire, and yet the front on the same coin has this on it, which looks like an alien gray to me. The big head, the big black eyes. Could this being right here, be exactly what John saw in Revelation when he said, I saw beings, unclean spirits that look like frogs, and that they were working with the kings of the earth? This is what you see happening today. It's like living in the days of Noah. I also wanted to get into the pyramids from all these ancient cultures that are all over the world. These people, the Egyptians and the Aztecs, the Mayans, none of them met one another back then. There wasn't a such thing as, well, let me hop an airplane and go visit somebody over there, or cross Atlantic boats that you could take and ships and travel. This didn't happen for centuries later. So here you have in Mesoamerica, you've got these pyramids, you know, Chichen Itza. What is this? Ismal. You've got pyramid of, what is it here? Pyramid of the Moon, Tikal, all over the place. And this is all over Egypt. So you've got pyramids from all over the world through countless cultures worldwide building pyramids. These fallen angels were obviously visiting different cultures around the world where ancient people had no modern way of communicating with one another and all building these things. That's interesting. Very interesting. I want to go to obelisk as well because the obelisk is used heavily in Freemasonry. It's used heavily in the occult, New Age, but it also the Egyptians, because they worshipped these beings that came down from the heavens, which we know are powers and principalities of the air that Satan is the prince of, Scripture says. These are all over the world. Yet, if you visit Washington, D.C., how many people that are visiting the Washington Monument are not thinking, and I know when I was growing up, before the Lord opened my eyes to these things, I didn't think of it as anything other than a patriotic symbol for our country. It wasn't until the Lord opened my eyes and started showing me they're all over the planet. Vatican City has one of these New Age pagan obelisks sitting right in their square. Like I said, Revelation 17 tells us this is Mystery Babylon, sitting on 7 hills, dressed in purple and scarlet. She's partnering with the enemy to deceive the whole world. Here's an obelisk. They're all over the world. I think these break down some very historical obelisks from around the world. So if you type this into Google, it'll take you to the different countries these things are, and give you the descriptions of who put them up and what they're there for. But they're all over the world, through every culture. This is not just an American thing where, oh, let's go visit the Washington Monument, how patriotic we are. No, these are all over the world, and they mean something to the New Age movement. They mean something to secret societies. These pyramids, the fallen angels were building and helping them build through cultures all over the world, thousands of years before there was any way for these cultures to communicate with one another and keep in touch. These Egyptian carvings showing discs and coins with ships on them, and it looks like John's frog in Revelation to me. All etched into stone. The big heads, the eyes, I mean, without me even saying it, you know what they are. All these, this is an ancient cave drawing apparently from Australia. Australia! I mean, you know what these things are just by looking at them, but this was the only way those people had to describe what they were dealing with. And you find it all over the world. These things here are supposed to be on Easter Island. I've looked into these as well. And nobody can figure out how the inhabitants put all of these heads here, because you're only seeing half their bodies. Apparently these figures, their bodies go way down into the earth. And they didn't know where they quarried them from, because Easter Island is not a big island. Could the fallen angels have been involved in that as well? Who knows? But when I look at things like this, let's get a closer picture. Look at things like this with modern, what we think is modern technology, is obviously what Ecclesiastes says: what has been will be again. There is nothing new under the sun. So I found this topic interesting and figured I would bring it to your attention. I do believe that the fallen angels and their offspring, the Nephilim, are where pagan mythology started and why there is worship of these ancient so-called gods and temples built to them. I believe this is exactly where it comes from. So when the Lord says in Isaiah 24:21, so it will happen in that day that the Lord will visit and punish the host of the fallen angels of heaven on high and the kings of the earth on the earth. Their day is coming when their deceptions, their temples, their obelisks, their pyramids, everything that they've done will be wiped off the face of the earth, and the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, which is Jesus Christ, will come and put it all under his feet. And I believe we're almost there. I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully there was something here that enlightened someone who was maybe unaware of these things. But yeah, really, really take to heart what we're seeing here. Pyramids from all over the world, different cultures, obelisks from all over the world, different cultures. It's not just an American symbol of patriotism, far from it. You've got the coins showing, it's like I said before, showing a ship on one side. It looks like a ship, and an alien gray on the other side is what it looks like to me. So kind of hard to miss. Yeah, right here. Look at that one more time, but very hard to miss. So I think this is a different coin, as a matter of fact, right here. hmm Some of the ancient coins you can look into that had carvings on them that, to me, speak of what we call the modern day gray phenomenon, in my opinion. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully, I'll have a video later this week as well. I feel like there's no shortage of topics that I wish I had time to cover every day. But take care of yourselves. Remember to thank God for a new day and keep your eyes on Him. God bless you.